Think to yourself, what is the most common state of matter in the universe? Well, let's go through it by process of elimination. On planets that we've studied, it's very rare to find a liquid. And since we know that stars aren't a liquid, we can rule the liquid out. Terrestrial planets are pretty small, which means that we can also rule solid out. However, there's a fourth state of matter that is not as commonly heard of, and it's plasma. It's actually the most abundant state of matter in the universe by far. Let's get into it. So for the rest of this video, forget about solids, liquids, and gases. They're too common to dedicate an entire video to. Plasma, on the other hand, is actually pretty interesting. It's not terribly common in our everyday lives, but it is one of the reasons that we are alive today. That reason is the sun. Every star in the universe is made almost entirely out of plasma, not to mention the solar wind that radiates out from the stars. It's all plasma. But what is plasma? Well, under most circumstances, it's a fairly neutrally charged, the term is quasi-neutrally charged, meaning it's about neutral. It's a medium in which there are about equal numbers of positively charged particles and negatively charged particles. However, unlike with solids, liquids, and gases, those particles are free from each other. If we use the solids as an example, solids, they are made up of a bunch of atoms. The atoms have their nuclei, which is made up of protons and neutrons, and they have the electrons. The electrons don't orbit the atom, but that is a topic for a different video. In a plasma, the electrons are separate from the protons and neutrons, and they commingle, intermingle, and they just are kind of this soup. However, they're not free from experiencing forces. They still have to experience like electromagnetic forces and gravity and all of that. Now, some of you might be like, yeah, I know what plasma is. It's an ionized gas. Well, that's not exactly true. While plasma typically resembles a gas, it's definitely not the same. In a gas, particles interact with each other fairly commonly, but it's only one particle against the other particle. 3 particle collisions are very, very rare. This interaction and motion is very unorganized. However, with a plasma, it's waves. The motion of plasma is very organized. In a gas, there's only really one thing, and it's the air atoms just moving around. However, with a plasma, there are 2 or more very different things. Positively charged particles and negatively charged particles, sometimes other things added into the mix. Number 3 is that gas does not conduct electricity very well. You can take 2 wires, and if you don't have high enough current, you can have them just like right here, and it won't spark between them. The electricity won't travel through the air because it's not very electrically conductive. However, most plasmas are very electrically conductive, and it's considered infinite for some purposes. I'm going to do a quick side note on this one. Some of you may be thinking about welding and how the electricity jumps between the electrode and the workpiece. However, when that happens, the air right there is actually turning into plasma. Before we end the video, I'm going to give you 3 examples of plasma. The first being artificially generated, the second occurring here on Earth, and the third occurring elsewhere in the universe. Here on Earth, a common plasma is in fluorescent lights. There's enough electricity in these lights that they'll create light because they're a plasma. This is also true of neon lights as well. An example of plasma here on Earth is lightning. There's enough electricity going through the air that it wants to become a plasma rather than stay a gas. The third and most common example of plasma elsewhere in the universe is stars. There's enough heat because of nuclear fusion that the whole star is plasma. If you want a video about nuclear fusion, let me know in the comments. Also, if you know any more examples of plasma, I know I do, let me know as well. Well, that's it for today. I hope you learned a little bit about plasma, and I hope that you've cleared up some misconceptions. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.